Hi, hello, welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHB +3. Those +3 spells are homebrew spells. We're at +3. You can head back in the playlist to find them. And today's spell is weird.
I know, but what about the spell?
It's weird. The spell's called weird. It's gonna be a weird episode.
There's a creature I once read about that I never want to discover, and it's called a crab. As I understand it, a crab is just like a regular fish, except it has 1,000 legs and is made of solid steel.
No marine biologist should ever discover a crab, the alleged love child of a spider and a rock.
9th level illusion, casting time of 1 action, range of 120 feet, components verbal somatic, duration concentration up to 1 minute. Drawing on the deepest fears of a group of creatures, you create illusory creatures in their minds, visible only to them. Each creature in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature becomes frightened for the duration. The illusion calls on the creature's deepest fears, manifesting its worst nightmares as an implacable threat. Implacable? At the end of each of the frightened creature's turns, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 4d10 psychic damage. On a successful save, the spell ends for that creature. Is that really 9th level? Really? Earthquake's lower, come on. Come on. 40-10 a turn in a... 40-10 a turn for a minute. In a 30-foot radius sphere, there are other spells of lower levels, symbol. That, yes, is also stationary. Like, come on. Every turn they get a chance to break out of it. It's cool, theming-wise. Why 9th? Is the frightened condition really worth it that much? Because even things like Maze, the big thing with Maze, which I failed to really notice in the initial spell or that video, is the fact that there is no initial save. It's only the ladder saves. There is an initial save for Weird. If Weird did not have an initial save, I would see why that is so valuable, because you're guaranteeing fear for at least 1 round and 4d10 psychic damage. But there's an initial save, and then every turn after that they can attempt to break out of it without even taking an action or needing to be shaken out of it. Or like other fear spells needing to run away from the source. If they at least had that, that'd be pretty decent. But no, it's just applying fear and then 40-10 per turn, which is alright, but take Phantasmal Force. Way lower level, and at least does 1d10, or no, 1d6? 1d6 to the target. 40-10 is an okay jump, but not a 9th level jump. Because as weird as this is supposed to be, and I mean, yeah, it's the name of the spell, strange since it's summoning a nightmare? Anywho, it's the Illusionist Fireball. Some might say it's Hypnotic Pattern, which true, yeah, fits a similar spell slot, also takes out an area of people, but this one, you know, with Weird, it specifically does damage. And then fear. And then every turn they can make a save to break out of it. 2 turns, 8d10. Already a little more than 8d6. 30-foot radius instead of 20-foot radius, so still a large area when you really think about it. 120-foot range as well. Pretty decent range on top of that. And if you're just attacking guards, a horde of enemies, goblins, yeah, it's going to do the same deal as Fireball, which is the big issue. Because it's not just Fireball, it's other damage spells of just relatively lower level. Not even down to 3rd, but just every level beneath Weird. Because Weird's at 9th. It is not worth a 9th level spell. Frightened Condition's nice, but the base fear spell is a massive cone. Yeah, you have to be in range to be able to do that cone, but you're the source of that fear as well. They have to get away from you. You can make that indefinite if you trap them in a corner. They can't run. They'll permanently have the Frightened Condition, and they drop their items with that spell as well. Weird doesn't do that. You cannot break out of the initial fear spell unless you are not looking at the source of that fear. Weird does not have that. Every turn you get to make that save. This is not 9th level. It's not. This is like a 5th level spell, 6th level spell, maybe. Maybe around that ballpark. Reduce the radius around those levels, possibly, if that's the big issue. It's not a 9th level spell. It should be half what it is. Cool in theory, same thing with Phantasmal Force and some of the other fear spells, or the Nightmare version of Dream, because, you know, you automatically reflect whatever it is they're scared of. Weird, you can't see it, but, you know, they might cry out like, oh no, it's blank, but the fact it's implacable, I need to look up the definition or replace them. It's bad. It should be way lower level. Or at least do more, or have it that they have to run away from the source of their fear, either making it you or the point you chose. Or have them required to, like, make a full action to shake themselves out of it. Like, no, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. At least there'd be a bit more value in action economy by making them waste their action to try and break out of it that way. And especially at this level, when you have 9th level spells, your DC is probably gonna be pretty high. Yes, they're already breaking out of it, but they also still get their action on top of that. They have fear on top of it, so they have disadvantage on a lot of things, but is it really worth 9th level? That's what I'm getting at. Because it's not guaranteed. Everyone in that 30-foot radius could pass the save. Unlikely, but the fewer targets you have, the more likely it is. And a 9th level, you don't really want that if you're going for an effect. 4 out of 10, because the fear condition is still good. It's an actually decent area and from a distance. And at that level, you're likely to have a high save, and wisdom is not something everything specs into. Ooh, but that hurts. That hurts. It just shouldn't be 9th level, though.